Gang Minecrafters, this is MC Rep, and with the conclusion of Minecraft Live, I want to do a review about the updates to come in order to clear any misinformation that your favorite 10-minute ad revenue YouTuber may have convinced you about for each feature. This video is just supposed to kind of cover everything very briefly and just go over exactly what the developers have said exactly is confirmed for the game. We'll have another video talking about speculation about what they might do as they finish the update and flesh it out, what I might hope will come to the game, talking about lore and everything like that, because I think there's plenty to cover. But I think it's important to kind of separate those two videos so I don't accidentally convince anybody that something is coming or that they've said something. Given that it's a 2-hour-long stream, some people missed it, some things can be misinterpreted. You know, I find that honesty is extremely important when it comes to these kind of things, and I kind of just want to take the time to be able to use this video as separate from my speculations and my hopes and things like that. So hopefully, I hope this helps you, and if you do, go back and watch the stream and change your vote to Axolotls, JK. But if you want to know my true thoughts about the Minecraft vote, I will have a short video concerning it right here. Gang Minecrafters, this is the end of Minecraft Live, and as you know, Glow Squid won. And, you know, from my past video, I was talking about how good the Archeology was, but psych! I was voting for Glow Squid the entire time. You thought I was voting for Archeology, y'all suckers lost. With that out of the way, let's get into the Caves and Cliffs update. So with Caves, we have a couple new things talking about biomes and cave generations. Looking at the Lush Caves biome, we'll have an azalea tree landmark that spawns above the surface that we can use to, we follow its roots and down into a lush cave. There's no confirmation of how deep it'll go or whatever the case may be, but you will find the little picture as you see within the tree. You'll find that above in the overworld, and if you follow it down, you can find a lush cave at some point. In these lush caves, we can find the drip leaf plant. This plant says that the developer said that it can grow in water and on land. We don't know which block specifically, but it did even in the previous show that some was growing out of the water, but they also said it could grow out of the land, as they showed when you actually use it when they were testing the falling mechanic. And the falling mechanic is, when a mob stands on the leaf that kind of sits flat, it begins to tilt and it resets after the mob that was standing on it falls down, and it goes back up. And so it's a little mechanic, kind of like a little platformer thing. There's also the Spore Blossom. The key thing about the Spore Blossom is that it has particles, and that the Spore Blossom can be moved, so you can actually pick up the plant and put it somewhere else. So you can move the particles to a different part of the world in order to make, if you want it to use on a specific build or whatever, you can actually just move the particles along with that plant. Also, on the vines, there are glowberries. This is a light source, and it's also edible, so it's very interesting. It grows on the vines of the Lush Caves. It's not necessarily confirmed that the vines here are different, or that glowberries will even go on the old vines, but they haven't really talked about the specific vines themselves. They kind of just said, hey, there's vines here, and on these vines there's glowberries. So we will have to see what kind of specifics they give us about that plant. And finally, the new mob that's coming into the Lush Caves is the Axolotls. This is kind of a predator for fish. It will fight fish and guardians and drowned. It will only fight it stated that it will fight the guardians and drowned once you've put it in a bucket. So like how you would put a bucket on a fish in water, you can do the same thing with the Axolotl, and then it will become part of your army. They haven't said that it's tameable per se, but essentially, as it kind of hints to us on the diagram, that once you scoop it, it becomes your friend, and it'll help you fight mobs in the ocean while you're swimming. During combat, the Axolotl likes to play dead, so as you might have seen on the video, it actually tilts a little bit, what mobs do when they die, and mobs won't even attack it at that point, and then it'll take time to heal, so it can go back into the fight. And they've stated that if you interact with the Axolotl in a specific or good way, that they could also heal you during the combat. No specifics on exactly how that works or how much they'll heal or whatever the case may be, but we saw there during fighting guardians and even elder guardian, They took a hit, played dead, and then would eventually get back up to continue the fight. Next up, we have our Dripstone Caves. So Dripstone is kind of the new block that's coming to this that forms in either stalagmites or stalactites. The stalagmites are the ones that look like spikes on the ground. So as during the show, a zombie fell onto the spike and it killed it. We're not sure if that, like, the amount of damage is confirmed, if it will do like a lethal 10 hearts upon fall, if it's based on how far you fall or whatever the case may be. We just know that it can do damage to mobs that fall on it. And the stalactites will drip water, given that it's called dripstone, and that water can be collected in a cauldron. And if a block above dripstone of a stalactite is broken, the stalactite will fall and it will break and like shatter into the item as we see on the screen. We don't know if this falling could also cause damage. I don't think they've confirmed that in any way on the live stream, but we do simply see that it would do that when the block above is broken. We do have a third biome that they've left unnamed at the moment. They've only stated that it's the deepest depths of the world. In this biome, this is where sculk will grow. We have sculk growths. The sculk is a number of variety of blocks, notably the sculk sensors, which will sense nearby motion or block updates and will emit a redstone signal related to it. And wool can be prevented from it sensing in particular directions. The redstone signal emitted by these sensors can transmit in between them as well to kind of create a wireless redstone signal, which I have stated is called Bluetooth in Minecraft. It's perfect that the little block, the skull kind of looks kind of blue, so officially Bluetooth in Minecraft. But and the Warden mob that will also spawn in this deepest depths biome uses sculk blocks around it to help locate players around it. So if you're making footsteps and you're not sneaking, then it will actually be able to notice that you're there based on the sculk blocks sending its signals like the sculk blocks or the sculk sensors would also do with each other. Now, when the players was going through these deepest depths biome trying to find the Warden, it does appear that there is like a new stone, potential darkness lighting effect, and like a torch or candle that appears there, but none of these things have actually been confirmed for the biome or as new items or anything, so let's not get too excited about these things just yet. They've only been there just for the preview, and even when they said, of course, they weren't talking about the biome as much, but these things are not necessarily confirmed yet. In addition, we are unsure on how truly strong the Warden is, exactly how much damage it will do. Perhaps this was the preview, and the developer said that he was wearing full netherite armor when he took that much damage. I have seen people saying that it might attack through armor or something like that. None of that's confirmed. I think the fact that he mentioned that he was wearing a certain type of armor was to emphasize the fact that it is extremely strong and that it is affected by armor. But of course, there's not a whole lot of specifics on this, so don't confirm anything just yet. Now, in addition, when it comes to cave generation in general, we will have a variety of cave sizes. So kind of how our caves now do also have a certain amount of variety in their sizes. How you can find really thin caves, how they kind of level, or they might go down at a steeper pace or a very level pace, whatever the case may be. They're simply kind of like expanding this so that the caves like the width of the cave can be extremely high, and that each of these caves can have local water levels. So like each particular cave will determine what their local water level is and potentially have water in there if they have water at all. And having the water in these caves could also cause like natural waterfalls if there's two caves running over, or if the water kind of ends at a certain point and the cave goes deeper, then the water can flow over and create kind of a natural waterfall at that point. Of course, they stated that ores are not going to glow in Minecraft. They were only using it for the preview, because if there was no light, then we wouldn't be able to actually see how big the cave was, and it would be more it was probably easier for them to say, hey, make all these blocks glow, rather than like purposely go place torches or a glowstone or something around all the blocks around them. And of course, the cave generation, these new sizes and the water levels are independent of the biome. So just like any other biome in Minecraft, how the size of the biome or perhaps the height of the biome, like in the Nether, is kind of independent from what biome you're in. The same thing is just for the cave biome. It's just like any other biome. Each of the biomes in the caves could be of any size or have any local water levels, whatever the case may be. Now, also in caves, we also have our geodes with our amethyst crystals. They haven't really confirmed much about this except the fact that the crystals will regrow upon the geodes, but those are the specific blocks, not the geodes. The geodes is kind of the area, but the crystal will grow on a specific block, and that block is not obtainable. So they compared it to spawners, saying that you can't, pick up and place a spawner somewhere. The same thing would be the case for the block that the amethyst grows on. So they haven't stated that it's not unbreakable, perhaps like bedrock, but they simply just compared it to the spawner in the sense that you can't pick it up and place it somewhere else in order to regrow crystals where you want them to. And so that encourages players to build tunnels and to actually like carve out these areas in order to access these materials. And of course, the amethyst shards, or the crystals when they're broken, will give you shards, and you use these shards as well as copper, the new ore, in order to craft a telescope. And the telescope kind of just zooms in one area. It's just like a zoom in. So for copper, we don't know too much about copper other than the fact that the ore kind of has veins different than all the other ores in Minecraft, how they kind of spawn in blobs, but the copper veins are kind of like there'll be a few copper ore and then another copper ore, some spread out with blocks in between them in a particular direction. We know that copper blocks turn green after a long time, after you've placed them, when you've actually turned the copper ore into copper. It's not confirmed that this green is reversible or that it affects anything other than its appearance, so it might not necessarily be more breakable or anything. We don't know if breaking the block will reverse it back so you can place it down again. We don't know that. We don't know if the block has to be smelted. They simply might have just retextured a block for the purposes of making this, but so we don't know if it has to be smelted. It might turn into something else. It may be a different process. We're not too sure yet. No confirmation on how that's going to work, or how to turn copper ore into copper, and what copper actually looks like and stuff like that. Copper on its own will be used to make lightning rods that you can place, and that can kind of just attract the lightning bolts during a thunderstorm. So we don't know if this lightning is usable, perhaps if a creeper was next to a lightning rod and a lightning rod struck, would it become a charged creeper or anything like that. We just know that the lightning will kind of hit that block rather than some of the surrounding blocks, in order to prevent players that build wood or wool houses from catching on fire. So we still need some confirmation on exactly, does it interact with mobs in any way, what's the radius of it, and things like that. Next up we have bundles. Bundles are kind of like a complement to shulker boxes. They're kind of like an inventory set of inventory. You can use the bundle to manually or automatically collect items in your inventory by dragging it up on them. And we see that when it fills up, we can kind of see the items that are in there, as well as kind of the durability of the bundle perhaps is how full it is. And we have no confirmation on if there's infinite inventory now between shulker boxes and bundles, if you could continuously put some in there. So we'd have to be waiting for more information concerning that. They stated that there's various kinds of items that can go inside of bundles, inside of the same bundle. So it's hard to say that they've actually confirmed that it would require item separation in any particular way, because they have shown a lot of different items in similar bundles. But we haven't been able to really experiment with what the bundles will do. So hopefully we get some more confirmation if bundles requires certain classes of items to be together, or if it can just be anything. So there's definitely that wasn't specified at all in the live stream. And when we have the archaeology system, there will actually be a structure for archaeology sites. So we'll actually have kind of a place where it seems as if players were looking into an older civilization or something in order to figure out what was going on there. As we saw, there might have been a sign and we'll be able to make a brush in order to brush, as we've seen in the snapshot, gravel and dirt as for now, in order to see if we could find something that's buried within them. We can, when we do this, they've confirmed that we can find like ceramic shards that we use upon clay pots, and if we can solidify those clay pots over the fire to put the shards in them permanently and like have a solidified clay pot where we can, as they put it, like tell our own story with the pictures that come on those shards. Now they said there were like shiny discoveries, and in the preview they said we saw like a block of emerald and a block of diamond potentially, but I guess they didn't necessarily confirm that those would be like the final shiny things. Similar to kind of in the Nether update when they were looking for what bartering would give you, and like they were using diamonds. So it could be the same situation here. They haven't necessarily confirmed in the live stream that the shiny discoveries would be like blocks of emerald and diamond or something like that. So we'll have to see what that requires. Now, something Agnes did say was that they wanted you to use this in order to deepen the mystery in Minecraft, and of course they would never tell the full story, but they wanted players to make up their own stories. And this statement obviously does confirm that there is lore in Minecraft, so be tuned to the lore videos that will be coming out, and I believe that we'll be using this at some point. In the complimentary video to this, we'll be talking about lore as well as kind of the hopes and dreams for this update rather than the actual confirmed things. But they did say we will never tell the full story, but we want players to make up their own story, confirming that there is a story. And finally, we have cliffs. We know that goats will at some point knock mobs off mountains. They did say that if you're not careful that they will, so we're not too sure if they will do it if you hit them or if you come near them or something like that. It really could be anything, so we don't know exactly when and why goats will knock other mobs, including players, off of mountains. We simply know that that's a mechanic that they will try to do. We do know that they will jump high as well. When it comes to snow, they did confirm that we would be getting powder snow. So it's like a type of snow it's like a trap. So if a mob walks over it, they'll actually fall through, but it will appear as if it's just regular snow. So it'll be difficult to tell if it's powder snow or regular snow by simply looking at it, perhaps. They also stated that snowier snow is like different from powder snow. They said we would be getting snowier snow, and also we would have powder snow. So snowier snow is still kind of unclear on what exactly that means for snow, so we still need extra confirmation in order to see what that exactly will be. And when it comes to mountain generation, they stated this a number of times in the past, but mountain generation will now be like height dependent. As you can see in the picture, how low the clouds are compared to the top of the mountains. We'll have like tree lines and extra snow and ice growing upon the mountains, so we will be able to see that soon, so that's pretty exciting. And for everything that's coming into vanilla Minecraft, this is pretty much all of the confirmed things as factual as possible based on the live stream. So hopefully we'll be staying tuned for more videos when they go deeper into things, and stay tuned for the next video to get some ideas on what might happen but are not confirmed for this update. And I'm really excited to do that video for sure. There's some very interesting things that I want to get into, but regardless, these are the things that have actually been confirmed and what they do. So please do look at the diagrams on screen, in the screenshot, or in the live streams. I've put some timestamps in the description based on each of the things, so like for caves, dripstone caves, blah blah blah, so you can go back and see those specific parts if you want to watch those individually. And also, it's very helpful that on the live stream video that they have as a separate video now, they have sectioned off each of the parts on the video so that we can see what each section is about if you want to go to specific sections. So that does help too. So definitely don't be afraid to go back and rewatch it so you can actually hear their words and know what they have confirmed and not confirmed, and what might have been just for preview and things like that. So with that being said, Minecrafters, don't be a Fortnite fool, heights or hypocrite, or Roblox reject. Always be an amazing Minecraft master. Stay blocky. #CaveUp.